There we go. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Good. All right, come on. Let's go. You ready to walk? Woo!
Am I connected right here? My man. That's what's up. Shalom Israel, we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, starting out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the commanding General Yohanan. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? The truth is that the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Indians are the true Jews of the Bible, and the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
Right.
It's Tuesday night, and Tuesday night brings us to what? Brotherhood class. And with brotherhood, it's synonymous with sisterhood. So anything we talk about with the brothers can be talked about, it can be used in unison with the sisters. With everything going on, this is the one thing that we lack, and especially with this coronavirus going on, especially with this thing with George Floyd, these riots and everything. With riots comes chaos, and with chaos, what don't you have? You don't have brotherhood. You understand what I'm saying? Because we got so many people that are out here for their own causes. You understand what I'm saying? These riots are, I don't want to say not for George Floyd, but we got a lot of people out here who have their own agenda when it comes to these riots. And we've seen our oppressor out here throwing rocks, busting windows at the CNN building with a skateboard. You know, we do have black people that ride skateboards, but that definitely wasn't a brother slamming that skateboard into them windows at the CNN building. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Definitely wasn't a brother. You know what I mean? And I even saw a sister on YouTube pull up 2 white female oppressors that was spray painting Black Lives Matter on the side of the Starbucks building. You understand what I'm saying? And they all masked up in all black with black masks, black gloves, and everything else. You understand what I'm saying? They had a white guy on there who got his face bashed in by his own people. And when the police came, he said that 2 black guys did it. Then they went back on the camera and saw that it was white people beating his ass up. You understand what I'm saying? But he was quick to say that it was 2 black guys that did it. Then they showed our oppressors busting their own car windows out, claiming that the rioters did it when it was being done by them. You understand what I'm saying? My whole thing is the Bible tells us what? To separate ourselves from them. Because if we separate ourselves from them, then we not caught up in a whole lot of the shenanigans. These riots are being paid for and are funded by our oppressor. You understand? These riots are, how can I say, it's partially about George Floyd, but it's mostly about our oppressor feeling like he's being oppressed himself. You understand what I'm saying? And in the midst of him feeling like he's being oppressed, he likes to drag us into it and put the blame on us. You understand what I'm saying? I want to ask a question. But let me give us a little scenario. Well, let me ask the question first. Tell me what is a token? What is a token? What is a token?
Token,
It's a token.
a token, is a special, a special possession.
A special possession. True.
It's a representation of something else.
Representation of something else. That's
For-
true.
for
You really can't give no wrong answer. Go ahead, finish.
I was gonna say, for example, if everybody plays Monopoly, you have pieces on the board that are called tokens.
Right.
So it's not literally you, but it's a representation of you moving around the board.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. And think about this, right? I remember when we was young and arcade games first came out, right? Used to have to put a quarter in the game. And bam, you'd be playing the game, right? And then all of a sudden, what did they do with the video games? It came out with game tokens, right? So what was the purpose of them coming out with the game token?
The game token was the purpose, well, I guess you can actually fluctuate the dollar. Because if you back in the day when we had arcades,
Right,
some arcades you put $1 and they give you 3 tokens.
right.
So in some parts that
Remember in the beginning, when you put $1 in, they gave you 4 tokens,
they gave you 4 tokens.
right?
It was to stop people from coming in and using it as a change machine, basically. So instead of coming in, you want to do your laundry, and you have quarters, you go there, grab all the money, take all the quarters, and then you leave.
That was-
Replace it with tokens, so you can no longer do that. Yeah.
That was a small part of it, but it was a bigger reason. It was a bigger reason for the token, right? It was a bigger reason for the token. You know what that reason was?
What's that?
Another reason why, I guess since you had to pay $1, you couldn't just play 2, you had to play 4.
You own it, right?
Or-
You own it. Go ahead.
And once you put that $1 in, once you put that $1 into that token,
You thinking now? Go ahead, because I know you got it. Go ahead.
once you put that $1 into that token, you are that establishment possess you now because you have to spend with them in order to get rid. You got to get rid of when you pay that $1, you have to spend with that person.
So they have your money whether you play the game or not.
Listen, the whole point, you was on it, right? The whole point to the token when they started doing tokens. Remember when they first started doing tokens,
So
instead of giving you a
just like Chuck E. Cheese.
right,
Chuck E. Cheese, they got their tokens. So if you spend money with Chuck E. Cheese, you got to come back to Chuck E. Cheese regardless.
hold up. Now I'm gonna give it to you, right? When they started off, right, they gave you 4 quarters. You could play the video game,
Right.
right? Then if you had money left over, you could go spend your money somewhere else outside of that arcade.
Right.
So what they did was they gave you 4 tokens. So instead of being able, when you was tired of playing video games, instead of going and spending the rest of your money somewhere else, you was guaranteed to have to come back. You had to come back
Right.
and use those tokens right there. You understand? Then they got wise, just like you said before, and they get for $1, they gave you 3 tokens. So what happens is if a game was 50 cents and you only got 3 tokens, but you had to use 2 tokens, you had to do what? Put another $1 in.
Mm-hmm.
You was bound. Them tokens bound you to that spot, a
Right.
particular spot.
Right.
You had to come back to that spot. Because I remember when back in the days, this was in the 80s, when I had tokens, and we went up to Connecticut. But in Connecticut, they wasn't the same tokens. It was different tokens. So I had to come all the way back home to use my token. So you bound when you were the token could only be used for one specific thing. One specific thing. That's it. You understand what I'm saying? The token bound you to that one spot right there.
Right.
You was only getting one thing out of it. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So what was the benefit of them giving you tokens?
That you want to come back.
You had to come back. They was using you. You understand what I'm saying? They using you when they tie you with those tokens. Just like in these riots going around. You understand what I'm saying? Just like when it's time to vote. Just like when it's time to do anything. We being used like tokens. They using us for one specific thing, right? We are basically the token. And they using us for one specific thing. What's the one specific thing that they using us for? Whatever. I mean, you can't get it wrong.
Whatever purchasing power we have at labor.
Any agenda that they need to get done, right? They always drag in the token in to get, just like you said, the power. When in a sense, the power never going to be used for you. Just like, think about a Democratic race. Everybody talks about what they're going to do for the Black community. They take that token, use it for themselves, and then the token is no more good anywhere else. We no more good after they finish using us. Think about everything. We've been voting since 1965, officially, right? Without bounds, since 1965. And since 1965, what has changed in our communities for us? Everybody always promised us better schooling, right? So we vote for them. They get in office, and then we used. They say they're going to get us better jobs, right? Mm-hmm. They get in office, and we still under what? Underemployed. We still unemployed. We still don't have businesses in our communities. They take all our schools away. You vote for me, and I'm going to get your schooling. I'm going to make sure that y'all get everything that y'all need in your community. And as soon as you vote for them, they shuffling you out of their community, right? That's just like in New York, what they say, in that brownstone area in New York, that used to be all Black, just like they switching Harlem over now, right?
So hard.
They get Black people to vote them in, and then they push Black folk out. Just like we always think it's a difference between Democrat and Republican, right? So just like Donald Trump said before he came in, what did he say, right? He said, why not vote for me, right? What do you have to lose? When he says, what do you have to lose, what does that mean?
I mean,
if he didn't do nothing for you, what difference does it make if I don't do anything for you? What do you have to lose? Because you're not gaining anything. So you might as well vote for me anyway, right? For a change. And when I say for a change, not for a change, but you might as well go from what was beating you up before and let me beat up on you now. They make it seem like we have no choice, right? But what choice do we have? What choice do we have? Separation. Separation. We don't always have to be a token, right? Think about this. Brotherhood is the strongest weapon we have.
Right.
Brotherhood does what? It brings us together, right? Brotherhood brings us together. And on top of that, think about this, right? You go to Zephaniah 2:1. What does Zephaniah 2:1 say? Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. First off, we already know we are the nation that's not desired. Out of the last 6 police killings, who were the people being killed?
Good night.
Woo. Let's jump back. Let's say the last 10 police killings. Who were the people being killed? Let's take it a little deeper, the last 20. And now we ain't talking about mass killings, because we know who do all the mass shootings, right? But when it's police confronting a citizen, and a citizen happens to be detained and ends up dead, who is it? If you hear about a person being murdered by the police, 10 times out of 10, you will know it was one of us.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Go ahead.
Now, it's heavy that you say that because, you know, right now on social media, within the past 5 days, it's been like 3 horrific police shootings. One Isupk brother got shot 20 times. 20 times. You know.
Why did they shoot him?
Unarmed.
Let me ask you a question. Why did they shoot him 20 times?
Well, he's definitely unarmed. He didn't comply what they wanted him to do. So they wanted him to stop. So he didn't stop running. And he didn't have no weapon, but they said he had a weapon.
Right?
That's that thing. That's that thing now. He got a weapon. It's open season. And then when they find out he had no weapon, it's like, we thought he had a weapon.
All right. So why did they shoot?
It was a cell phone.
Why did they shoot him 20 times?
Make sure it's dead.
There you go. There you go. Listen, check this out. If they shoot him one time and he makes it to court, he has a cell phone in his hand, right? That police is fired. That police loses his job. He sues the city.
Right.
But if you shoot him 20 times, he's dead. So now, when they sit the police officer here, and tears are coming down his eyes, and he says, "Oh, it was a mistake," and he's sitting there in front of 10 white jurors and 2 black jurors, who's gonna feel sympathetic? Who's gonna feel sympathetic?
White jurors.
So there you go.
2 black mistakes.
Everybody, because 2 black people will follow suit. So now you move the defendant off, and now you put the dead person there. What is the dead person going to say?
Man.
Can't speak for itself. In all of those confrontations, why does the police either murder, choke them out, shoot them to death, or something like that? Why does it always happen? Because if it goes to court, police gonna get off because that person does not have a voice. Now, even with all the cell phoning, all of the cameras and everything else, right? You got everything that's being seen. You understand what I'm saying? And they get it. What do our oppressor always say when you see cell phone video of clear murder?
They got to investigate.
We have to analyze the whole tape. When clearly, when they see a black person with a gun, automatically he's guilty.
Right.
Even if he's registered and everything with that gun. Did you see the brother that they locked up? That was registered to carry his weapon and all of that because he worked in security, and they still locked him up and still taking him through the loop. Then you always got people that do what? You always got tokens that do what?
represent the interest of the oppressor.
And they always say, you always got somebody to say, well, he must have did something. He must have did something. You understand what I'm saying? We are our worst enemy. The Most High gave us compassion. He gave us empathy. He gave us sympathy. You understand what I'm saying? The only disheartening thing about what the Most High gave us is we use that empathy and sympathy towards our oppressor. But when it comes to our own, we don't use it at all. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
We become tokens to our oppressor. We are the first ones to speak up against our own people, but when it's time to speak up against the oppressor, we pulling our own people back down. We going at our own people like we ready to fight and kill. When we say the white man is the devil, did we get any problems from? We may get a problem here or there, but who do we get most of our problems from?
Our own people.
Our own people. Token. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Think about what's her name? Amber Geiger.
Mm-hmm.
After she killed what's his name? Botham John, right? She gets into court. You got a black district attorney. You got a black judge. You got a black, what's her name? Bailiff, right? And then everybody doing what? Consoling the oppressor. No one consoled that man's mother.
Thank
You understand what I'm saying?
you. Right.
Token. She probably didn't even confront that man's mother and say, I'm sorry for your loss.
Right.
But you can stand there and give her a Bible, the murderer a Bible, stroke the murderer's hair. You understand what I'm saying? Token. So now, when you see all of that, when the oppressor sees all of that, it's easier for them to let her out of jail early. It's easy for them to let Trayvon Martin's killer off.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? It's easy for them to let Sterling Alton's killer go.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It's easy for them to let any police that stepped on Freddie Gray's back release them.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because we show so much sympathy and empathy for our murderers and our oppressors that we show no empathy or sympathy to our own people. Most High tells us to separate from them. Zephaniah 2:1, gather yourself together. Whenever you gather yourself together, that means you move away from something. We need to move away from the very thing that's destroying us, right?
Right.
But the thing is we trust in every word that our oppressor gives us. This is the reason why we still voting today. This is the reason why we got, was that Charlemagne the God, T.I., and all of them talking about we need to make our vote count? That's a token.
Right.
Any person that tells you you need to vote for the lesser of two evils is a token. Right now, look at all of the black people that's telling you to get out and vote.
Like that's what
Like it's going to do something. But this is what our oppressor uses on us. These are tokens. So now what happens, right? What did we see on TV? First off, let's do this. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 10. Ecclesiasticus. Chapter 12 and verse 10. Go ahead.
Ecclesiasticus.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy.
Say that again.
Never trust thine enemy.
And that's the problem with us right there. You understand what I'm saying? We got so much trust in our enemy. You understand what I'm saying? It tells us to never trust our enemy. Why shouldn't we trust our enemy?
You shouldn't trust your enemy because God said don't trust thy enemy.
I mean, of course, that, you know.
But
Your enemy's only desire is to see you destroyed.
There you go. Your enemy's only desire is to see you destroyed, to see you down, to see you out. You understand? Your enemy cannot have your best interest at hand. Your enemy can only have his best interest at hand. And your enemy's interests are never, your interests. You understand what I'm saying? It says, never trust thine enemy. The Most High tells us that. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead, finish.
For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
It says, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. What does that mean? So like iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
I mean, like iron rust. When iron rusts, it gets dull, and it just, it's not good.
Iron looks.
Sorry for me. Iron, its natural progression or its natural lifespan, it eventually will rust.
Right.
It's just the eventuality because it's a metal. It's the natural course of the life of metal. So as that is natural for iron to rust, so is it the oppressor. It is his nature to eventually show his wickedness.
There you go. Exactly right. Just like iron, right? When you first buy iron, a piece of any kind of piece of metal, right? It looks nice and beautiful, but eventually, from time and wear, eventually it's going to rust and show what it really is. You understand what I'm saying? Just like that iron rusted, eventually, this oppressor that says he's going to do all of this stuff for you, eventually the truth is going to show through. You understand what I'm saying? Eventually, you're going to see the real side. Think about this, right? And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Pimlico Racetrack has been up there since 1880, right? 1890. It's been up there. 1890. They built it in 1890. Something like that, right? Since the 70s, since I was young and living up there on Park Heights and Spalding, they always said that part of the proceeds from the racetrack was going to go to revitalize the Park Heights community. It has never done that. So is iron rusted. So is his wickedness. Listen, the only thing they want to do is take and dry up and soak up the community. How many people attend those horse races right there from the community? I see hundreds of people, especially when the Preakness hit.
Oh yeah.
My mother was one of them. Every time the Preakness rolled around, she was there. You understand what I'm saying? So is iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Only thing they are there for is to dry up and take control and run the community into a hole. They could care less. As long as that racetrack looks nice and pretty on track day, that's all they care about. But in order for them to get that area or to hold that spot, they have to convince you to keep voting for the same stupid stuff. The same stupid stuff that never benefits you. They use you as a token to get everything that they need to keep thriving and sucking the blood and the life out of that community.
Right.
This is what we're talking about when we're talking about a token. They're using you as a token, just like when you playing chess, right? What are the token pieces on the chessboard? The pawns. Because you're using the pawns to set somebody up. A pawn, I'm not going to say it's meaningless, but you use it to your advantage to put a person in a particular position. You understand? Your pawn is basically like a crash dummy. Indispensable. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a token. Basically, in your community, in our communities, we are basically tokens. We basically pawns. We need y'all to vote.
In the game of chess, pawns are sacrificed as part of the strategy to win the game.
Exactly. And there you go, right there. We are being sacrificed every time voting time rolls around, every time Christmas rolls around, every time Valentine's Day rolls around, every time Memorial Day rolls around. We are the pawn. Who buys up all the hot dogs, all the pig feet, all the chitlins, all the pork chops, all of that shrimp, crab, and lobster, everything that we not supposed to do, that they make their bones off of, right? Who buys up all of that? Have you ever seen what Monroe Street looks like on Memorial Day? You ever seen it?
Good.
I had to drive through it the other day. You understand what I'm saying? It's everybody's out there, everybody and their mama.
You said Monroe?
Monroe Street, the crab spot.
Right.
Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Christmas, Valentine's Day, what's that? Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Memorial Day. Think about this. It's damn near a holiday in every month. And then now what they're starting to throw in there, what? Donut Day, Teacher's Day, Wives Day, Men's Day, Earth Day, you know, they even got Hamburger Day. You understand what I'm saying? But the whole point is we are basically tokens because they get you so locked into a holiday, right? That when you begin to hear the truth, you don't believe it. So what do? You side with your oppressor as opposed to siding with the brothers from the Isupk under the commanding general Yana. You understand what I'm saying? We decide we given the truth, but the lie is so great and the lie is so beneficial that we side. We are the token against our oppressor. Go ahead.
Just, I think it was kind of interesting you mentioned for that scripture, like iron rustles show his wickedness. Right here in Baltimore, there was one of the oppressors owned a Vince's Crab House. I'm sure you heard of it. Well, Vince's Crab House, guy then started selling crabs in the neighborhood right in Baltimore, made enough money to open up 2-3 other crab places. They're selling crabs to mainly black people. He himself admitted that even 75% of his business was black people, and yet he goes on the internet and just dogs black people out. So said making jokes like black women with blonde hair looks like a Duracell batteries, and people out there protesting. I bet you one place they won't block the road to, and that was to the social services building. And these comments go all the way back to 2012. all the while, black people lining up them for years. And only now, because of the protests, because of due to the death of George Floyd, that people started to really take notice and
that they hate us.
yes.
Hold up,
They hate us.
Vince
Vince's practically got 3 locations. He got one in Dundalk, one in like Glen Burnie.
Listen, right in the black community.
All of them in the
black community. Listen, I'm gonna go one deeper. And I know both of y'all heard about that, Drew Brees.
Comic-Con, I heard.
Listen, you understand what I'm saying? So is iron rusted. So is his wickedness. Listen, Drew Brees felt like that from day one. You understand what I'm saying? How do you go from George Floyd being murdered to somebody disrespecting the flag? It had nothing to do with the flag.
Right.
Protesting had nothing to do with the flag. But this is what's in his heart.
Right.
And this is the reason why I say F Drew Brees.
Right. Because
who was it that backed him when he came to the Saints after San Diego got rid of him for the elbow injury, the shoulder injury he had? Remember, he played with the Chargers his first 4 seasons. And he got a terrible shoulder injury. And they got rid of him. And who picked him up? Those black people in New Orleans, the ones that begged for him. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, the owner picked him up. But the black people was backing him. You understand what I'm saying? And so is iron rusted. It shows his true heart, what's in his heart. Ed Reed came on and was inches away from cursing him out. You understand?
Oh, Ed Reed came?
Yeah, Ed Reed came on,
my
calling him a sucker. You a sucker. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But so is iron rusted. You understand?
Right.
So his wickedness eventually shows through. These people, I don't care what you say. What a white person does for you, what an oppressor does for you, right? They can never care about you. The only time that they care about you or seem to care about you is when they need something from you.
Right. That's it.
He needed a job, so he loves black people. Now that I got your attention and got all my contracts, to hell with black people. You understand what I'm saying? This is what they do. Listen. He coming down to the end of his career, so what do he give a damn about you for? You understand what I'm saying? He wants another Super Bowl, but he got one. He got it with the black backing. You understand? When they was killing people in New Orleans, let me ask you this. What did he say when they was killing them people down there after that hurricane and Hurricane Katrina? Not a goddamn thing. Then he got there, right? We're going to bring New Orleans back. It was about him playing football and winning a contract and getting paid. It was about him showing San Diego that y'all shouldn't have got rid of me. You understand what I'm saying? It was never about New Orleans. It was about him. Because so is iron rusted. So is his wickedness will show through.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? This is how they really feel about us. You understand? This is the way they really feel about us. All of that community service and all that bullshit. This is how they really feel.
Right.
You understand? And what's going to happen is more and more of these players, because even if a white player comes on and bashes him, I don't respect that anyway, because I expect them to do that. None of them like us.
Right.
None of them like you. You understand? I'm glad. I love football, but I'm glad it's shut down. You understand what I'm saying? I'm glad they're not playing no football. As much as I love it. You understand what I'm saying? Because think about it. And what's her name? Jamila. What's the chick that used to work for, what was that, ESPN or something? Jamel Hill. She came on the other day, and every time she say something, it makes sense because she don't give a goddamn. You understand what I'm saying? Money don't make her. But just like she said, and just like we've always been saying in the UPK, think about it, right? You got owners of these football teams, right? They paying all these brothers millions of dollars, right? But look at Jerry Jones. What does Jerry Jones do? What's his main steez? His main steez. What does he make his bones off of? His money. Oil. There you go. Oil. You feel me? He's making his money, and a lot of them are in those big industries that make the world go round. You understand what I'm saying? And as much as they like to say Michael Jordan owns a basketball team, Michael Jordan don't own a basketball team. And I'm gonna say it like this: the reason why he doesn't own the basketball team, because if he opens his mouth and says the wrong thing against black people, they'll find a way to take it from him. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
They'll find a way to take it from him. He doesn't own a thing. They don't let niggas own anything. Does he own the whole team, or does he own part of the team? Can you pull that up?
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, see how much of that team he owns. I don't think he majority owned.
What is it, Wizard?
No, the Charlotte Hornets, right? Or the Pelicans or something like that. That's the New Orleans Pelicans. Charlotte Hornets or something like that. The North Carolina team.
According to NBA.com, March 2010, Jordan became the majority owner.
Oh, so he the majority owner.
Jordan.
But he ain't really majority owner.
Right.
Because they can get that team from him if they want. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
But at the same time, right, think about it, right? In football, and I know Jordan got enough money to own the team out and out. Why didn't they let him own the team out and out? Because they never gonna let a nigga own a whole team by himself.
It's like a country club.
You got a voice, but you have a voice. And he may be majority owner, which means he owns what, 51%. Right?
Right.
And then you probably got two other white people that owns the other percentages, right? That means that's two voices to one.
Right.
So regardless of how much he owns, he still got two voices to one, probably, to outvote him when it comes to doing something of significance for your people. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
For as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. This oppressor will find a way to get that team from him.
Right.
Is nothing that Michael Jordan can do for his people. Not that he wants to do anything for his people. Michael Jordan put $20 million into jails against his people, knowing that we are the ones being locked up the most, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians being locked up the most.
Right.
He invested in your downfall. You understand what I'm saying? You all right, bro?
Yeah.
He invested in our downfall. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, let's drop down to that next one. To that number 11.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou had wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away.
It says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass. Think about it, right? You ever look through a lens or something and it's not real clear, and all of a sudden you wipe that lens, and then all of a sudden you can see exactly what's in front of you. You understand what I'm saying? Eventually, when you clear that smog away, you're gonna see exactly what he is. You understand what I'm saying? You're gonna see exactly what he is. And this is what he is. He's a person that hates us. You understand what I'm saying? We are totally destroyed because we are blind to the fact that these people hate us. You understand? We are destroyed by these people.
Right.
You understand? And the Most High tells us what? Gather yourself together. Come away from them and get yourself together and come together and be a stronger people.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? We keep putting our trust. We keep putting our trust in a people that hates us, and it tells us trust. It says, what's that? Trust not thine enemy, right? And we keep trusting in our enemy to do us good, to do us good. You understand? Our enemy can never do you good. Let's drop down to that verse 13. Drop down to verse 13.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 13. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh a wild beast?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
If you're gonna put yourself in a situation to be amongst states, you shouldn't pity a person who gets bitten.
Exactly. You said that's exactly on. Think about it, right? If you see somebody, all right, I'm gonna hit you with this, right? When you at work and you see a butt kisser kissing the oppressor's butt, right? And finally the oppressor fires him. What do you say? Do you pity him? How can you pity him when he been kissing the oppressor's butt the whole time? When you charming a snake and then all of a sudden you get bit by that snake, how can you, when we keep saying come away, come away, come away, how can you pity him after you've told him time after time after time, leave the snake alone? Leave it alone. Have your mother ever told you stop playing with the stove? Stop playing with the stove. You're gonna get burnt, and you keep on doing it, and then she do what? Okay, go ahead. Then once you get burnt, what she say? I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you to leave that alone? She doesn't pity you because she's been telling you the whole time, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. Well, we tell brothers and sisters every day the oppressor is going to destroy us. When you keep trusting in your oppressor, when you keep trusting in voting, when you keep trusting in Christmas, when you keep trusting in all of these holidays, when you keep trusting in smoking cigarettes, when you keep trusting in getting high, when you keep trusting in robbing and killing your brothers and sisters, you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
How can you pity? How can you pity a charmer who keeps messing with a serpent? You understand what I'm saying? How can you? We keep doing the same things over and over and over again, expecting something different to happen. And then we keep saying to ourselves, well, damn, how can this happen? We voted. Think about this, right? When Trump got elected, what did all the black people say? How he get elected? I ain't vote for him. We ain't vote for him. We ain't vote for him. What does voting have to do with him getting elected? Unless a million of y'all was electoral voters. You understand what I'm saying? We keep falling for the same thing over and over and over again. You understand what I'm saying? Look at that. Look at Ecclesiasticus. Let's go to 16 and 18.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips.
Say that again.
An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips.
What's going on right now in all of these this major race coming up? Presidential race. Enemy speaking sweetly. Joe Biden speaking sweetly. You understand what I'm saying? How many people already planned on voting for Joe Biden? A lot of brothers and sisters, huh? Expecting something different to happen. Hey, not just all.
Yes, sir.
A couple of weeks ago when we was talking about the wolf and the fox, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the wolf and the fox. The wolf, you know what the wolf is going to do to you, right? The wolf is straightforward. I'm going to run your ass down and I'm eating you. The fox acts like he don't really want you. Look, now I don't really want you. I just want to get away. I just want to lay over here. And then he waits till you fall asleep and bites a hole in your neck. But either way, both of them going to destroy you.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So now you making a decision between a wolf and a fox. Listen, it says an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips. So now you trusting in the fox. The fox is speaking sweetly with his lips. Go ahead, finish.
But in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit.
And that's what they doing right now. They trying to figure out a way to throw you into a pit. You understand what I'm saying? Black lives matter. Think about this, right? If black lives really matter, what'd you have to say? I don't hear white people saying white lives matter. I don't never, when white people shoot up white people, they don't say white lives matter. When a black person on a rare occasion kills a white person, I don't hear white people coming out the street saying white lives matter. Why don't they say white lives matter? I know you got it.
They would never have to say white lives matter. It's inherently applied and implied everywhere you look and everywhere you go. God is white. The Son of God is white. The picture of beauty is white. The standard of beauty is white.
But more importantly than that, why don't they have to say white lives matter? Because they are going to have justice. You understand what I'm saying? They are going to get justice. This is the reason why they don't have to come in the street when a black person kills a white person, because they know that they are going to seek justice. Not only do they know they're going to seek justice, most of them know, oh, I'm going to be on the jury to convict them. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, it says, but in his heart, he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. Listen, Joe Biden already knows he's not going to do a goddamn thing for black people. The only thing he's thinking about is how he is going to continually destroy us. That's it. Without you realizing that he is destroying you. You understand what I'm saying? He ain't defunding no police forces anywhere. You understand what I'm saying? All of these people talking about we're going to defund the police department. When have you ever known them to defund the police department? Now, let me ask you this. What year was you born? Hey, Nazar, what year was you born?
76.
Right. Check this out. I was born in 68, right? How long have we been hearing we have to retrain our police force? Since I was born. We got to retrain, right? It sounds real good because they're talking about retraining now. I've been hearing that since I was a kid, right? If they didn't retrain them properly back then, what makes you think they're going to retrain them properly now? How do you retrain a people that hate you? How do you retrain a people who are bent on destroying you? How do you retrain that kind of person? What do you do with that type of person? How do you operate amongst that type of person? It's only one way to. That was the first scripture we used. How do you operate amongst them? How do you live in the same society as them?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Separate.
There you go. Listen, we live in the same society, but we separate ourselves. Think about this, right? How many Chinese or Koreans own the stores in your neighborhood?
All.
Okay, where do they live at? They're operating amongst us, but they have separated themselves from us.
Except for the Arab hip-hop chicken. We call it.
Zephaniah 2:1, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather yourself together, O nation I desire. Listen, just as the Chinese and the Arab and the Koreans do, this is what the Most High is telling us to do. You can do business amongst them, but separate yourself from them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Listen. It says, but in his heart, he imagined how to throw thee into a pit. If you just doing business and then you going back into your community and you are policing your own community and you are serving your own community and you monitor who is in your community, they can't imagine how to overthrow you into a pit. You understand what I'm saying? It's what the so-called Jewish man does in Pikesville. He monitors his own community. He tells the police when to come in and when not to come in. You understand what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure in Chinatown is what they do. You understand what I'm saying? I went to Georgia a few years ago, and they have a whole almost like a small city. Got all the stores, and then over top of the signs is written in Chinese. Every store, even the Victoria's Secret. You understand what I'm saying? They own everything in that whole tiny, small district. You understand what I'm saying? Why can't we do that? We can't do that because we refuse to gather together. You understand what I'm saying? When we refuse to gather together, you can't establish yourself. Think about this, right? All right, the Bible says what? The kingdom of heaven is at hand, right? Christ says the kingdom of heaven is at hand. What does it mean when it says the kingdom of heaven is at hand?
So, the kingdom is near.
Yeah,
We should shortly come.
yeah. It means more than that. Listen, it says the kingdom of heaven is at hand. When you say something is at hand, that means it's right here. It's right here. All you have to do is step into it. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Think about this, right? Okay. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. If we start patronizing our own, all right, let me give it to you this way. What did we say a couple of weeks ago? The economy of the United States is 70% of the economy of the United States is built on the consumer. Who is the consumer? The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is right here. You have the power already. The kingdom of heaven is right here in the palm of your hand. If you gather yourselves together, you start promoting your own businesses, you start buying from them and buy from your own. Think about this, the coronavirus in a matter of days tore down the economy, the U.S. economy. It tore the U.S. economy down so hard and so bad that they opening stuff up and not even really sure of how this coronavirus is traveling. Think about this, right? The coronavirus, you can't see it, right? Can't see it. Don't know where it's at, right? Have you ever seen somebody blow cigarette smoke? You ever seen somebody blow cigarette smoke? How far does that cigarette smoke go?
20 feet, probably.
And they're giving you 6 feet. Think about it. That coronavirus is lighter than that smoke. And they're giving you 6 feet. What the hell do they know? The Most High set this in place, right? The kingdom of heaven is at hand. They don't even know. Think about this. If somebody like me can sit here and say, damn, I know this is a virus that you can't see, which means it's, oh, damn. Okay, I got you. This is it right here. But if they know that a virus is lighter, if you know this virus, you can't see it. Right. You know that it's lighter than this smoke, right?
Right.
If this smoke can go 20 feet, because we all know, we seen people smoking, seeing the smoke, and then you like, God damn, you know, you can smell the smoke from in there. What makes you think a virus can only go 6 feet? Who made that analogy? Then on top of it, if you made that analogy, why can't they test the virus and figure out what the virus is?
Right.
Why don't you understand what I'm saying? Come on now. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. If we separate ourselves from them, if we show brotherhood to our brothers and sisters, if we start supporting our own and stop supporting the heathens that come in and destroy us, if we stop voting, if we stop doing Christmas, if we stop doing Memorial Day, if we stop doing all of these heathen holidays, then we will be on top and they will be on the bottom.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
With that, I'm going to pass the class over to Priest Officer, not dissolved. I have to do this one again.
The security announcements, we are the ISUBK coming out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a brother or sister come into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves with the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister have an interest in a particular person, then he or she get permission from their head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, after the next 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from their head to marry, tithe, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, 8 through 10, which means 10th in Hebrew, and is pronounced Ma'ashera. 10% of every penny increase the Lord gives you, you give it to Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering, not mandatory whatsoever. Would you like to give upcoming holy event? We have the upcoming holy events, the memorial of rolling the trumpets, which starts at September the 17th. Thursday, September 17th, that's Sunday. Reminding the Akim and Aquathium to check on social media such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so forth for Isupk events and materials. If a brother wants to become a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headbands, and scarf. And with that, we want to give one courtesy salute to the teacher.
Men of Israel, Amai Shabbat, Amadi, Barak,
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yahi Matah, class dismissed.